Crash Bandicoot. Like many characters, your prime was in the past. Nowadays, you're nothing more than a failed cereal mascot. A Scrimblo Bimblo, as many have put it. The people have spoken that they don't want cartoonish characters, so why should you get in? Holy shit! Oh, Crash. How I love this guy. His tough-as-nails platforming and unique characters have wormed their way into my heart. And it isn't just the other characters that I like. Crash himself has a wild, crazy, cartoonish personality. And this is a sensation that I feel the world of Smash truly needs. Of course, these are only some of the reasons why I want to see Crash crash his way into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I know that the last person I covered was pretty popular, but this guy is like one of the most well-requested characters out there at the moment. And you probably know that already, because you know what? You're probably wondering, "Oi, why even bother making a video about this bloke, yeah?" Well, my friend, especially after some recent Twitter drama that came from Kazuya's reveal, you would be very surprised. Smash fans find a way to clown on any character possible, regardless of how cool they are. Like, come on, if I wanted to bash Crash, I'd just play Crash Bash! I'll see myself out. Anyway, it was this discourse that caused me to decide Crash should be my next character in the In Defense Of series. This video is meant for those who don't really get what this orange version of Taz the Tasmanian Devil can really do. My aim is to educate those who blindly follow the hate train on cartoonish characters because of what Mr. Final Boss spoiler said, as Crash is way more than just a 90s icon. Disclaimer, this is not me forcing you to like Crash. If you think this character is stupid even after this video, that's okay. I just want you to know why Crash is as popular of a character choice as he is. Also, another disclaimer, I'm sorry I was gone for so long. Getting yelled at by Karens at work isn't the most motivating experience out there. As always, be sure to like and subscribe, and leave your ideas for other characters that you want me to defend in the comments down below. It's time to speak in defense of Crash Bandicoot. Honestly, is this even a question at this point? Crash is a revitalized icon of the past. He worked great in Smash. Out of all the platformer series in Smash, none are as balls to the wall as Crash Bandicoot. Heck, Crash Team Racing has a skill stealing that Mario Kart could only dream of. But this is what you've heard before, surely. That's all I've heard from people. And honestly, just having your series be hard isn't enough of a standout to garner this much of a fan base. So allow me to dive a little deeper. It ain't just the games that are hard, the characters are hard. Okay, not like that, you sick fuck. I'm saying that in comparison to other characters, Crash's characters are more wacky, unusual, and, well, let's be honest, gritty. Like, look at this. Jesus Christ, Crash! Even his deaths are more over the top. People say that we've seen all the possible routes of cartoonish characters in Smash, but really, we haven't seen anything yet. As I said earlier, Crash perfectly embodies that slapstick cartoon personality with his wild, reckless, and dumb behavior. It'd be really refreshing to see this in Smash after all the composed and noble characters that we've gotten. Seriously, like 70% of the roster acts all, "Oh, I'm so brave and stoic, I've got to go on an adventure to save the world with my trusty friends," while Crash is out here acting all, you see what I mean? This would extend to the feel in his moveset as well. Now, there are tons of videos going over possible movesets for Crash, and they do a way better job than I ever could. But I can say that Crash wouldn't be a furry Mario with Incineroar's neutral B. Going back to the previous points, his moveset could have a combo-heavy yet risky vibe to it, similar to his tight platforming. He could use moves like his classic spin to extend combos, but would also be strangely lighter than other fighters of his stature to emulate the danger in his games. Think about how Sephiroth is super light in comparison to other characters his size. And going back to the point of characters, Crash would be the perfect one to have an Echo Fighter. The most discussed Echo Fighter would be Coco Bandicoot, his sister, which makes sense because she's been there since Crash 2. She'd really be there to better tap into Crash's character catalog, while also tweaking some parts of whatever moveset he would end up having. We also don't really have many techie characters in the game, and Coco's quite the hacker, so I think she would be a great fit as well for an Echo Fighter. However, there is another character that works for the role of Echo Fighter, or even just as an alt, which, let's be honest, I think is more likely to happen for a DLC fighter. And that character would be Fake Crash! This guy is like the Big of Crash. Somehow he's everywhere but nowhere at the same time. And come on, imagine getting JV forward by someone who sounds like this. This guy would get memed to hell and back, and he would be wonderful. I wonder if there's a fake Coco. Never mind. Anyway, I feel like if only one of these could happen, Fake Crash would be more likely since he has actually similar proportions to normal Crash, and all they would have to do is just change some voice lines to match with his, dumber voice lines. Which is quite the feat considering Crash already isn't the brightest. Anyway, I've spent long enough here. Time to delve into some juicy internet drama. Oh yeah, now we're getting into some real salt. If you're a Smash fan who spent at least 1 nanosecond on either Twitter or YouTube, then I'm sure you've become very familiar with the term Scrimblo Bimblo. Now, to explain the general situation to any of those uninitiated, a certain YouTuber made a very bad take after Kazuya came out, saying that he's really boring and he would have preferred a cartoonish character. After those words settled in, this guy got flamed to hell and back. And rightfully so, too. But I noticed that after the mob finished ripping that guy to shreds, their bloodlust got the better of them, leading them to bash anything platformer related when it comes to Smash. This is when the term Scrimblo Bimblo, which was originally used in a funny meme, soon became a term for insulting characters that people seem to like. To provide an official definition, Scrimblo Bimblo, lovable Scrunko, is a term for a lovable character that is talked about a lot, but no one aside from his fans knows the character. An example of this would be Gex, since he hasn't had a game in decades. It really pains me to say that because I think Gex is hilarious, both ironically and unironically, but I can't deny that only fans would talk about him. Crash, however, is no mere Bimblo, as unlike Gex, he actually had recent games. And before you say, oh, but remakes don't count, he's still a Scrunko. He had a brand new game last year, thank you very much. Crash 4 perfectly expanded on the first 3 games. And it's not only a joy from start to finish, but it also sets him apart from other platformers since it's so damn hard. It also has minor swearing for some reason.
Bastards! He'll get every last one of yous.
See, there is something Crash has over other platformers. Australians! Anyway, another thing I've seen people say about Crash is that he has no moveset potential. In response to that, I'd like to highlight another behavior change that I've noticed. Ever since the end of Pass 1, I've seen people deem characters with thousands of different abilities like Doomslayer as the standard for movesets in DLC, and anyone with simpler designs and more grounded worlds just can't do anything. Let me show you something. BAM! Argument destroyed, low difficulty, get wrecked. It's like these people are missing the point of the DLC. It's supposed to draw movesets out of the characters that are in. Trust in the dev team, guys. As unless it's Sonic or Modern Kirby, they can handle anything pretty much. What's that? You want to see Crash do some moves? Okay then. this next section should have you covered. So, you still aren't convinced, huh? You're making me work here. I kinda like that. If my last video was anything to go by, this is where I would pitch some ideas for a Crash moveset. But I won't waste your time here. Granted, I do have some ideas I mentioned earlier, like Crash's spin being a fast combo starter, which can be balanced out by him being light for his weight. But in terms of entire movesets, there's other videos out there. No. This time, I'm gonna show you just what the Crash Bandicoot series is all about! Whew! Hope you enjoyed that montage. I wanted to compile a montage that summarized just how much this series really has and how much of a joy it would be in Smash with all the things shown. And sure, I know there's a pretty big market for in-depth moveset concepts that go into the statistics, but I wanted to do something different this time. I feel that this route was generally more visually appealing, because that's what Crash and a lot of other cartoonish characters are, visually appealing. They're meant to stand out among the crowd. Why else did you think Banjo and Steve got the most love as DLC characters? They were popular, sure, but they stand out. It's because they're so recognizable, even just as silhouettes, that people seem to appreciate them more than most of the other DLC fighters. Anyhow, I appreciate you watching this far, but I would like to ask for just a bit more of your time. I've got a couple more things to say before wrapping things up here. Before this video comes to a close, there's one more point that I want to address, and that would be the amount of cartoony fighters versus human ones. See, people like to say that we have plenty of cartoonish characters already, and tend to opt characters like Crash out of speculation just because of that. So after some compiling, I have some visuals for you to draw your own conclusion. These are all the cartoonish fighters related to platforming, and these are all the rest of the cartoonish fighters. Notice that I was pretty generous here, as I included characters like Steve and Min-Min even though they're technically human. So now that that is established, everyone else fits into the other category. Now I'm not going to say that the gap is titanically huge or anything, because it isn't. There is a good amount of cartoonish characters. But considering how large a genre platforming is, one more fighter wouldn't be the waste of a slot that some tend to say they would be. Anyways, this concludes my second episode of the In Defense Of series. As always, comment who you want me to defend next. Or heck, comment some counterpoints against Crash. I'll be sure to get back to you. Crash is a character who I have some deep history with. Ever since I was a kid, in fact. But my reasoning for wanting him isn't super deep. His tight gameplay and unique characters stuck with me ever since I first turned on that PS1. Everything I said throughout this video basically sums up my desires pretty well. And come on, name a Smash character who's done this. Or this. Or maybe this? As I said, he'd be a refreshing personality. Of course, every character is wanted by someone, and regardless of what we think about that character, bullying someone for wanting them will do no favors for the community. Instead of fighting each other, we should support each other. And if someone likes a character that you really despise, just don't get involved, man. Don't let Twitter discourse sway your opinions on the matter either, as terms like Scrimblo Bimblo can easily become hate trains if used properly. Anyhow, thank you for sticking through to the end with this video. It shows just how good of a listener you really are if you're willing to hear me rant about this bozo for around 15 minutes. Feel free to subscribe if you like my points. Anyways, that's why Crash Bandicoot is a worthy addition to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. People say that Crash is too crazy to happen, but he will show everyone just what crazy can really do.